The desperate call. The quantum communications array on mining station. Delta 9 picked up the transmission at 3:47 Earth Standard Time. What started as routine signal monitoring became the catalyst for humanity's most decisive military action in galactic history. Captain Sarah Chen was reviewing mineral extraction reports when her communications officer, Lieutenant David Park, interrupted her morning coffee. His face had gone pale, something unusual for a veteran who had served through 3 frontier conflicts. Captain, we're receiving a wide-band distress signal. It's using every known translation protocol in the galactic database, Park reported, his fingers dancing across his console. The signal strength suggests they're burning through their entire power grid to transmit this. Sarah set down her coffee and moved to the communications station. The mining station wasn't equipped for first contact situations, but as the furthest human outpost in this sector, they were often the first to receive deep space transmissions. Put it through the speakers, she ordered. The voice that filled the command center was melodic, yet broken with desperation. The universal translator worked overtime, converting the alien language into something humans could understand. This is Supreme Coordinator Villani of the Krillian Empire. We broadcast to all sentient species capable of receiving this message. Our civilization faces complete annihilation. We have 7 billion souls across 12 worlds, and we are being systematically consumed. Sarah exchanged glances with her crew. The Krillians were known to humanity only through second-hand galactic records. They were an ancient species, peaceful traders who had achieved spaceflight when humans were still figuring out agriculture. The message continued, and Villani's voice cracked with emotion. 3 cycles ago, we discovered what we believed to be derelict technology in the void sector. Our scientists were curious. We brought the artifacts to our research world of Krylos Prime for study. We didn't know they were dormant weapons. We didn't know they were waiting. Lieutenant Commander Jessica Martinez, the station's security chief, pulled up star charts on her display. Captain, the Krillian Empire is 17 light-years from here. If something's consuming their worlds, we need to alert Earth Command immediately. Sarah nodded but kept listening to the transmission. Every detail mattered when assessing threats to human space. The artifacts weren't machines as we understood them, Villani continued. They were mechanical parasites, each no larger than a grain of sand. When exposed to our technology, they activated. They consumed our computers, our ships, our cities. They replicate using any refined metal or energy source. Within days, they had consumed our research station. Within weeks, they had spread to 3 worlds. The command center fell silent except for the alien voice echoing through the speakers. Park was already preparing a priority transmission to Earth while Martinez ran threat assessments on her tactical displays. We tried to fight them. Our energy weapons only fed them power. Our projectile weapons were absorbed and converted into more parasites. We evacuated populations, but the parasites followed our ships. Every world we fled to became infected. The Galactic Council sent aid, but the rescue fleets from the Altarian Alliance and the Zenith Collective were consumed within hours of entering our space. Sarah felt her jaw tighten. 2 of the galaxy's most advanced civilizations had failed to stop this threat. The Altarians were energy weapon specialists, while the Zenith Collective possessed the most sophisticated AI systems known to exist. If they couldn't stop these parasites, conventional approaches were useless. Our mathematicians project complete consumption of our empire within 30 days. After that, the parasites will have enough mass to spread beyond our borders. They will consume every technological civilization they encounter. We estimate the entire galactic arm could be sterilized of advanced life within a standard century. Martinez whistled low. That's a galaxy-killer threat, Captain. If these things reach human space, they won't, Sarah said firmly. She had already made her decision. Park, open a channel to Earth Command. Maximum priority. Authentication code Omega 77. While Park established the connection, Villani's message reached its desperate conclusion. We offer everything we have to any species that can save us. Our technology, our art, our knowledge accumulated over 50,000 years of civilization. We will serve, we will pay any price. Please, someone must have the power to stop them. Our children are dying. Our worlds are being stripped bare. Please, someone, help us. The transmission ended with coordinates and technical data about the parasites. Sarah studied the information while waiting for Earth Command to respond. The parasites were indeed a nightmare scenario. Self-replicating machines that converted matter at the molecular level, immune to most forms of attack, spreading exponentially. Admiral Marcus Stone's face appeared on the main screen within minutes, his expression grim. The head of Earth's Deep Space Command never responded personally unless the situation was critical. Captain Chen, we've received your transmission and the Krillian distress signal. Your assessment? Sarah didn't hesitate. It's a genuine extinction-level threat, Admiral. These parasites are Grey Goo scenario with spaceflight capability. The Krillians have weeks at most. After that, those things will spread throughout the galaxy. Stone nodded slowly. The President and the Defense Council are convening now. Initial analysis suggests conventional weapons won't work. Dr. Yuki Tanaka from the Weapons Research Division has a theory, but it's extreme. How extreme, sir? Remember what we did to end the Titan Moon insurgency? Sarah's eyes widened. The Titan Moon insurgency had ended when humanity deployed weapons that violated 3 different galactic warfare conventions. The entire moon had been reduced to radioactive glass. Even Earth's allies had been horrified by the thoroughness of the destruction. Sir, that was a single moon with a few million insurgents. We're talking about 12 inhabited worlds with billions of civilians. Stone's expression didn't change. Captain, those civilians are already dead. The parasites will consume them regardless. The question is whether we let those things spread beyond Krillian space or stop them there. Dr. Tanaka believes our nuclear arsenal, combined with antimatter charges and something called a stellar cascade weapon, it might be able to destroy the parasites completely. Sarah understood the implications. Humanity wasn't going to save the Krillians. They were going to cauterize the infection before it could spread. How long until the fleet can be assembled? She asked. 48 hours for initial deployment. The full armada will take 96 hours. I'm giving you field command of the reconnaissance squadron. Take the Prometheus and 3 destroyer escorts. Get to Krillian space and gather intelligence. Do not engage the parasites directly. We need to know exactly what we're dealing with before we commit to total warfare. Sarah saluted. Understood, Admiral. We'll depart within the hour. As Stone's image faded, Sarah turned to her crew. Martinez, prepare all defensive systems and arm every weapon we have. Park, send a message to the Krillians. Tell them help is coming, but don't specify what kind. No need to terrify them more than necessary. Engineer Chief Robert Thompson spoke up from his station. Captain, what exactly are we planning to do? Sarah's expression was steel. What humans do best, Chief. We're going to show the galaxy why Earth is classified as a death world. We're going to demonstrate why every predator on our planet learned to fear us. We're not going to save the Krillians, we're going to avenge them. The Prometheus departed Delta 9 station 53 minutes later, accompanied by the destroyers Havoc, Retribution, and Silence. Their holds were filled with reconnaissance drones and enough firepower to crack a small moon. But Sarah knew it wouldn't be enough for what they were about to face. As they entered hyperspace, she reviewed humanity's military history. Every time Earth faced an existential threat, humans had responded with overwhelming force. The asteroid that killed the dinosaurs had taught humanity a lesson. Sometimes the only solution to an extinction event was to become one yourself. The journey to Krillian space took 18 hours at maximum speed. When they dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the system, Sarah's worst fears were confirmed. The planet below them, Krylos 7 according to their charts, was being consumed in real time. My God, whispered. Park. You can see them from orbit, the planet's surface writhed with silver clouds, billions of microscopic parasites converting everything they touched. Cities that had stood for millennia were dissolving into metallic dust. Forests were being stripped down to their component molecules. Even the oceans were being processed, the parasites extracting minerals from the water itself. Life signs? Sarah asked, though she suspected the answer. Scattered groups in underground bunkers, Martinez reported. Maybe a few 100,000 out of an original population of 800 million. The parasites are eating through the bunker walls. They have hours at most. Sarah made the hard decision. Launch reconnaissance drones. Full spectrum analysis. We need to know everything about these parasites before the fleet arrives. The Retribution fleet. 3 days after the Prometheus arrived in Krillian space, humanity's answer to the parasitic threat emerged from hyperspace like death incarnate. Admiral Marcus Stone commanded the largest military force Earth had ever assembled. 47 capital ships, over 200 destroyers and support vessels carrying weapons that most galactic civilizations had banned millennia ago. Sarah, Chen watched from the bridge of the Prometheus as the dreadnought Thunder of Earth took position at the center of the formation. The ship was a kilometer long and bristled with weapons that violated the Geneva Conventions, the Martian Accords, and every treaty humanity had signed regarding warfare. But those treaties assumed you were fighting something that could surrender. Admiral Stone is requesting a tactical update, Park announced. Sarah activated the communication channel. Admiral, our reconnaissance is complete. The parasites have consumed 7 of the 12 Krillian worlds entirely. The remaining 5 have days at most. We've identified their reproduction patterns and energy signatures. They're vulnerable to extreme radiation, but only at levels that would sterilize everything within a 50-kilometer radius. Stone's image appeared on her screen, his face carved from granite. Understood, Captain. What's the status of the Krillian survivors? Scattered groups totaling maybe 3 million across the remaining worlds. The Krillian government is effectively dissolved. We've been in contact with various survivor groups, but... Sarah paused, choosing her words carefully. Sir, they still believe we're here to save them. Stone was quiet for a moment. Behind him, she could see the thunder of Earth's command center buzzing with activity. Officers were preparing for an operation that would be remembered as either humanity's darkest hour or its most necessary act. Open a channel to all Krillian survivors, Stone ordered. They deserve to know the truth. The communication was established within minutes. Thousands of Krillian survivors huddled in failing bunkers and damaged ships listened as Admiral Stone delivered humanity's verdict. People of the Krillian Empire, I am Admiral Marcus Stone of the United Earth Fleet. We have come in response to your distress call. We have analyzed the threat you face, and we have reached a conclusion that you need to hear. Sarah could see the hope in alien faces on the video feeds from various bunkers. They still believed salvation had arrived. The parasites consuming your worlds cannot be stopped by conventional means. They adapt to weapons, consume energy, and replicate faster than they can be destroyed. Our scientists project that within 10 days, they will have enough mass to spread beyond your space. Within a year, they could consume half the galaxy. The Krillian survivors were leaning forward, desperate for the solution humanity must surely have brought. Stone continued, his voice carrying the weight of worlds. Humanity evolved on a death world. We survived by learning a harsh truth. Sometimes the only way to stop a cancer is to burn it out completely. We cannot save your worlds. We cannot save your infrastructure. But we can ensure that your deaths are not in vain. We can stop the parasites here before they spread. Confusion rippled through the survivor groups. Villani, the supreme coordinator who had sent the original distress signal, appeared on the screen. She was emaciated, her once beautiful scales dulled with starvation and stress. Admiral Stone, we don't understand. If you cannot stop them, why did you bring such a massive fleet? Stone's expression never changed. We can stop them, Coordinator. But stopping them requires the complete annihilation of every infected world, including the space around them. We're going to deploy weapons that will reduce your planets to subatomic particles. Nothing will survive. Not the parasites, not the ruins of your civilization, and not any survivors who remain. The silence that followed was deafening. Sarah watched as understanding dawned on alien faces. Humanity hadn't come to rescue them. Humanity had come to ensure their complete destruction. You're going to kill us all, Villani whispered. You're already dead, Stone replied bluntly. Our scans show you have perhaps 50 hours before the last bunker falls. You can die slowly as the parasites consume you molecule by molecule, or you can die instantly in nuclear fire. Either way you die, but only one way ensures the parasites die with you. A younger Krillian pushed forward on one of the screens. You're monsters. You're worse than the parasites. At least they don't pretend to be saviors. Stone's jaw tightened slightly, the only emotion Sarah had seen him display. Perhaps we are monsters, but we're monsters who will ensure no other species suffers your fate. We're giving you 30 hours to make peace with whatever gods you believe in. Send us any cultural records you want preserved. We'll ensure your species is remembered, but in 30 hours we begin bombardment. The channel erupted in pleas, curses, and sobbing. Some Krillians begged for more time. Others cursed humanity's cruelty. A few, understanding the necessity, began transmitting their cultural archives to the human fleet. Stone cut the channel and turned to his fleet commanders. Begin deployment. I want antimatter charges placed in orbit around every infected world. Nuclear missiles armed and targeted at population centers. And prepare the stellar cascade weapon for the system's star. Captain Rodriguez of the destroyer Havoc spoke up. Sir, the stellar cascade weapon? That will cause the star to go nova. It'll destroy everything in the system. including planets that haven't been infected yet. The parasites have demonstrated the ability to survive in space between worlds, Stone replied. We cannot risk even a single one escaping. The entire system must be sterilized. Sarah watched as humanity's fleet spread throughout the system like antibodies responding to an infection. Ships took positions around each world, their weapon systems charging. The Stellar Cascade weapon, a device that could destabilize a star's core, was moved into position by 3 heavy cruisers. Over the next 20 hours, some Krillian survivors continued transmitting their history, art, and knowledge to the human fleet. Others spent their time cursing humanity's name. A few tried desperately to find solutions, proposing ideas that had already been tested and failed. Villani contacted Sarah directly in the final hours. The Krillian leader had aged visibly in just days, the stress of watching her species die etched in every scale. Captain Chen, I need to know something. When your people face extinction, have you ever chosen mercy over survival? Sarah thought about Earth's history. The nuclear wars, the bioplagues, the climate disasters that had nearly ended humanity multiple times. Each time humans had survived by making choices other species would consider unthinkable. No, she answered honestly. We survived our death world by being willing to do whatever was necessary. We killed 90% of our planet's species before we learned to protect the environment. We dropped atomic weapons on our own cities to end wars. We released genetically engineered plagues to stop invasions. Mercy is a luxury for species that evolved in paradise. We evolved in hell. Villani was quiet for a moment. Then perhaps it's fitting that our salvation comes in the form of annihilation from Hellworlders. At least our deaths will have meaning. 29 hours and 43 minutes after Stone's announcement, the final Krillian transmission was received. It was a children's choir from a bunker on Krylos 3. Singing what their teacher explained was a lullaby their species had sung for 20,000 years. The song spoke of stars as gentle guardians watching over sleeping children. 17 minutes later, Admiral Stone gave the order. The destruction of the Krillian Empire took less than an hour. Antimatter charges detonated simultaneously across 12 worlds, converting matter into pure energy. Nuclear weapons followed, their radiation ensuring that any parasites that survived the initial blast would be destroyed at the molecular level. Cities that had stood for millennia vanished in seconds. Mountains were reduced to glass. Oceans boiled away into space. The parasites tried to adapt, tried to consume the energy being thrown at them. But there was simply too much, too fast. They were overwhelmed, overloaded, and ultimately obliterated. Clouds of metallic parasites were caught in the nuclear fire and reduced to their component atoms. The Stellar Cascade weapon activated last. The Krillian star, which had warmed their worlds for billions of years, began to destabilize. Its core collapsed and then exploded outward in an artificial nova. The blast wave reached the inner planets in minutes, the outer worlds in hours. When it was over, nothing remained of the Krillian system except an expanding cloud of superhot gas and radiation. The human fleet watched from a safe distance, their sensors confirming what visual observation already showed. Complete annihilation. No parasites had escaped. No trace of the infection remained. Across the galaxy, monitoring stations registered the destruction. The Altarian Alliance, the Zenith Collective, the Sapphire Hegemony, and dozens of other civilizations watched in horror as humanity demonstrated why Deathworlders were feared throughout the cosmos. Within days, the Galactic Council convened an emergency session. Ambassador Zara of the Altarian Alliance spoke for many when she addressed the assembly. The humans saved us all from the parasite threat, but at what cost? They destroyed an entire civilization, 12 worlds, billions of souls. They didn't even attempt a rescue. They simply annihilated everything. The human ambassador, David Chen, no relation to Captain Sarah Chen, stood to respond. He was an older man who had served as Earth's voice in the Council for 2 decades. You're right, he said simply. We didn't attempt a rescue because rescue was impossible. We didn't show mercy because mercy would have meant the death of every technological species in the galaxy. We did what humans have always done when faced with an existential threat. We eliminated it completely. You're proud of this genocide? Accused the Zenith Collective representative. Proud? No, but I'm not ashamed either. The Krillians were already dead. The parasites had won. We simply chose to make their victory Pyrrhic. We turned their feast into their funeral pyre. Ambassador Chen activated a holographic display showing the expanding gas cloud that had once been the Krillian system. This is what humans bring to the galaxy. Not mercy, not compassion, not gentle salvation. We bring the willingness to make the hard choices that paradise-born species cannot make. We bring the fury of a species that clawed its way to sentience through blood and fire. We bring retribution. The council chamber was silent. Finally, the elder representative of the ancient Void Whisperers spoke. The humans have shown us a terrible truth. Sometimes the only answer to an extinction-level threat is to become something equally terrible. They saved us all by being willing to be the monsters we could not be. Back on the Thunder of Earth, Admiral Stone stood alone in his quarters, looking at the datapad containing the Krillian cultural archives. Millions of years of art, science, philosophy, and history reduced to digital files. An entire species' legacy now existed only in human databases. Captain Chen contacted him from the Prometheus. "Sir, the fleet is ready to return to Earth space." "In a moment, Captain," Stone replied. He pulled up one file, the last transmission, the children's choir singing their lullaby. He listened to the young voices, so full of hope even in their final moments. "Sir?" Chen prompted gently. Stone closed the file. "Set course for Earth, Captain." "And add a note to the official record. The Krillian Empire died with courage. They faced their end with dignity. That should be remembered." As the human fleet entered hyperspace, leaving behind nothing but radiation and expanding gas, the galaxy had learned a fundamental truth. When extinction threatened, when annihilation loomed, when all hope was lost, you didn't call for saviors or heroes or rescuers. You called for the Deathworlders. You called for humanity, and humanity would deliver retribution. End of story.